What's going on, everyone? This is Greg, and I'll be talking about Alexandria, Egypt today. The latitude of Alexandria is 31 and the longitude is 29. It's located on the northern coast of Egypt, just west of the Nile River. It's a good location strategically because it's close to the Middle East, it's close to Turkey, it's close to the rest of Europe and also the rest of North Africa. It's a flat coastal landscape. It has a moderate climate, and so it's much more mild than other parts of Egypt. It doesn't get as hot, but it still does get fairly hot in the middle of summer. The metropolitan area is cramped with tight alleyways, a lot of shops and huge apartment rises. There's not many parks, but the parks that they do have are very lush. They're filled with flowers, palm trees. It looks very similar to Southern California, actually. As of this year, the population is about 5.5 million, making it the second most populated city in Egypt behind Cairo. About 90% of the population is ethnically Egyptian, and 90% of the population is Muslim. Christianity makes up about 10% of it makes up the difference of the religious groups. And even though most of the people are of one faith, the people in the city are very friendly. They're very progressive and accepting. This might be because the city demographic is very young. 32% of the population is younger than 15 years old. Just a brief history. Alexandria is pretty well known, but it was founded in 331 BC. And it was actually just a small fishing village when Alexander the Great found it. 2,000 years later, it still stands strong and still has the same name. And because the city was founded by a Macedonian conqueror, you see it more Greek artifacts and ruins than Egyptian ones. So you won't see many ancient Egyptian artifacts or tombs there. It's still a major port city. It's a good example of sequential occupancy because it was built as a Greek city. It was also home to the Egyptians for many different periods. It was a Christian city at one point, and it was even conquered at one point by the Persians. It was home to the ancient library of Alexandria, as well as the Lighthouse Pharos. The Lighthouse Pharos was one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. It was destroyed in 1480, and the Quet Bay Castle was built over it. Because of the library, the city itself was famous for trade, for arts, music, science, even athletics. It was sadly burnt down, though. Most people think by Julius Caesar. So a day in the life of Alexandria is very fast-paced. It's very noisy. Traffic is constant. You walk everywhere. Fresh juice can be found everywhere. Fruit, seafood that's really fresh can be found. Everything is pretty cheap. You'll pay about $4 for a meal. You'll find fresh eggs, falafel, full, which is a bean dish made from fava beans that you can see in the picture, actually. And because drinking is not really common in Muslim culture, coffee and tea shops are very popular. You find coffee and tea everywhere, and especially a lot of Turkish coffee. So I chose to see the city from the perspective of a student that's studying in the universities in Corniche, and life can be very busy and cost of living is slowly or steadily increasing. So people have to work more to keep up. You do meet a lot of different people. People are very nice. People are very friendly, and although there's not a ton of tourists in Alexandria compared to other places in Egypt, the tourists that do come are also very friendly, and people are very friendly to the tourists as well. This is the new library of Alexandria that was built in the same spot that the old one actually was. And the Corniche is going to be to the right, which is that main coastal region that big highway runs along. Just a common marketplace in Alexandria. You'll see shops, vendors, probably even find some juice shops and barbers and things like that. And this is going to be a nicer area in the Corniche district that's probably got some hotels and other more expensive places. So life is very safe in Alexandria. It's a very nice to walk around at night. Nightlife is very active because it's cooler. There are some environmental problems with the population increasing, and the road that runs along the Corniche is increasingly getting widened, and the ocean and the beach is basically just being taken out. Pollution's a problem, and this is kind of common in much of the North Africa region. So the city is not immune to those problems as well. It is a great place to live, though. Thanks for your time.